Hey, Ed here from Precision Gun Reviews, and today we're taking a look at another double stack, double single action polymer framed hammer fired concealed carry pistol. This one is from Beretta, and it is an upgrade or an update to one of their existing firearms, the Beretta PX4 Storm. This is the Beretta PX4 Compact carry, and it has undergone some changes to make it better for concealed carry. So, starting with the general specs, this gun is 5 inches tall, it is 6.8 inches long, and it is 1.4 inches wide. So it's a little bit thicker than some of the guns we've looked at recently. It's a double stack, and it has 15 rounds in each magazine, plus one in the chamber. You saw that rotating barrel there. We'll get to that in a minute. It is a double stack magazine. It has no magazine safety. It has no safety of any kind. This gun has been given the G model treatment, which makes it a decock only double single action with these very low profile decocking levers on either side. That's one of the updates to increase its viability for concealed carry. Also, it only has a slide stop / release on one side. It's been removed from the other. It does have a bobbed hammer, a Picatinny rail with a single notch in it. It has these great sights. These are steel sights, and they are not 3-dot, but they are night sights, and they have the high visibility orange paint on the front sight. The one thing that doesn't seem to make sense to me is that these rear sights are blacked out, which makes this phenomenal to shoot in the daylight with that front sight really popping out. But at nighttime, if you have nothing to look at here, it almost defeats the purpose of having the night sight in the front because you have no reference point for your sights in the back. And I'm a little confused as to why the gun was made with sights like that. Looking around the gun a little bit more, we have this polymer frame, and it's a nice solid polymer. It has these interchangeable back straps, of which I never change because they are, well, because this is very comfortable, this grip. It doesn't look like much. It's not overly contoured, and it's generally fairly rounded off, but it has these pyramids on the rear and front, and it is very comfortable to hold in the hand. It has a very gradual slope here for this beaver tail, which means you can't quite get up as high as you can on some other guns, but you barely notice, and I'll get to some of the reasons why in a bit, one of them being just the contours of the polymer being very comfortable in hand. It is a very upright sort of gun profile. It doesn't cant forward very much, so if you are more used to the Glock angle, this is going to be sort of the opposite of that. Beretta has added a gray Cerakote finish to the slide on this version of the gun. It's very durable and looks very nice. I don't know if that matters in a firearm. It has this very extended magazine release, making the gun very easy to do reloads. The magazine does sit very nicely into the frame. That's something I like to see. It's a well-matched frame and magazine fit. Again, no magazine disconnect safety on that one, so it will fire. The trigger has been improved over the original model, which was not bad to begin with, but it has a very smooth double action pull. I do like this double action pull very much compared to some others, and the single action there's some take up here, but very light, very short on the final pull. And it's very light going through this take up, and the trigger itself is just very, very light. So if you're trying to do double taps on this firearm, you'll have a very smooth transition from double to single. And that single, you have that reset there, is very short, very audible, very tactile, just a really good trigger. And we took a look at another double action, single action firearm recently, which was a fine firearm, the Walther P99AS, which had a ridiculously good single action trigger with almost no reset at all. But the double action was long and somewhat stiff from the full double action pull. This one sort of lightens up that double action, and just by comparison, there's a much lighter double action pull, while the single action isn't as rifle-like. So I find that this is a more usable transition for going from double action to single action, and I find that this is also a very accurate firearm, which I guess we could talk about right now. This gun employs Beretta's rotating barrel design, where there is no tilt to the barrel as you fire the firearm, and this is intended to mitigate recoil, and I think that it is successful because this firearm has almost no recoil, and it aids in the accuracy in letting you get follow-up shots right back on target. I find it's very easy to do double taps with this firearm, very easy to shoot accurately at greater speed than a number of other pistols that I've shot. We can quickly take a look at some targets. Now remember, these are just 4-inch rifle targets, so from here to here is about an inch and another inch there. So these are just some examples of some of the groupings we're getting, and again, shooting a little bit faster on this one than with most other firearms I review on the channel. Just because the design of the gun, the mechanics of the gun allow for that, and I really do like that. In terms of reliability, we didn't have a single hiccup with this firearm. It fed all kinds of brass-cased, aluminum-cased, steel-cased ammo without a hiccup, defensive loads without a hiccup. Just a very reliable firearm from what we could see here at PGR. Let's take a look at the takedown for the PX4. So this is going to be very simple. We're pulling down on these two tabs and pushing the slide forward, and that's it. You have just a little bit going on inside the frame, and then in our slide we have this interesting system. There's a steel guide rod behind this double recoil spring that connects to this locking lug that rides along this rotating barrel. There's a groove here in the barrel that this locking lug glides along. So as it starts here, the barrel pushes back and rotates this way and rotates back forward. And this is only a 3.2-inch barrel, I think, as a result. So that is one negative of this different barrel design, is that I think they need a little bit more space behind the chamber to allow this sort of twisting action and the ability for this to ride backwards a little bit. So for this size weapon, you're only getting a 3.2-inch barrel, which is about approximately the same as some of those single stack 9mm we've taken a look at. So that's one thing that may be a detriment to this, but however, like I said, this is still a very accurate firearm regardless. So if barrel length somehow equates to accuracy, we're not seeing that loss with the loss of barrel length. With this whole system, though, we are seeing a very light recoiling firearm and a very good shooter. It's just a real comfortable firearm and a joy to shoot, in my opinion. As you can see, getting it back together sometimes is a little finicky because you have to have that barrel rotated all the way back to one side. I'm going to leave that in there so you can see how that was a little bit of trouble. And that's it. You're back good to go when you put that slide back on there and rack it a single time. Overall, I absolutely love the Beretta PX4 Storm. I always was smitten with it, but it had some of those features like the big safety levers that were actually safety levers and not just decockers, the heavier trigger that the previous version had, the additional bulk of the slide stop on the left-handed side. You know, being a right-handed shooter, that's just extra size that I don't need. So this Beretta PX4 Storm Compact carry is just a fantastic upgrade to that firearm. You know, this bright high visibility sight is wonderful. And it's a shooter. It shoots very well. It's very, very comfortable to shoot. I'm surprised, looking at this, it's almost like a broom handle sort of grip compared to some of the other ergonomics we've looked at, from Walther or from any of the other companies that really deck out the ergonomics of their grip. This is very simple, but very smooth, very comfortable, and fantastically shootable. So it does have a very high bore axis when you take a look at it. You can't get way, way up there on this firearm. But as I said again, that doesn't really matter in this case, and it doesn't matter because the reason that you don't want a high bore axis, or that many people are against it, is that the assumption is that it will create more muzzle rise, more muzzle flip, make it harder to get back on target for follow-up shots. But in this case, the mechanics of the design totally invalidate that argument because it is greatly reduced in that department of recoil and muzzle flip, making this one of the easiest firearms to get back on target that we've shot here, especially at this fairly compact size, 5 inches, 6.8 inches. I don't know if I said it's 27.3 ounces, so it's a little bit heavier than some of the other offerings, but still not incredibly heavy. This Beretta PX4 Storm Compact carries a MSRP of $899, but it also holds the distinction of having one of the greatest markdowns, being that you can find this gun for around $675 at online retailers. So that's a hefty $200 decrease from the MSRP, and that's great. It also comes with, let's move the firearm out of the way. It comes with 3 magazines. So we have the gun and 3 mags, a loader, this takedown tool. This is for catching all your parts when you do a full disassembly, a lock, and it was supposed to come with Talon grips, but however, mine did not come with Talon grips. It does have a couple of cleaning rods, and it's in this locking blue polymer Beretta case, and inside, and that comes inside this Beretta box. So that's what that looks like when you get it from Beretta. And I'm still curious where my Talon grips are, but no matter. I really do like the grip even without the Talon grips. Although that was one of the updates. So if you find that this is a little slippery, which I don't really find my hands slipping much, but the Talon grips that come with this will make this all very, very grippy for you, if that's the case. So that's the Beretta PX4 Storm Compact carry. An absolutely fantastic, compact, double stack, polymer framed, double action, single action, hammer fired firearm. I do recommend it wholeheartedly. This is a fantastic, fantastic firearm. One of my favorites, honestly. So that's the Beretta PX4 Storm, and I am Ed with Precision Gun Reviews. We'll catch you next time, and as always, stay safe out there.
I just wanted to give a quick shout out and thanks to the gun store of Conway, South Carolina. They help us transfer in all of our firearms for review. And you should check out the gun store at scgunstore.com. They are a full-service firearms, guns, and gear shop with an indoor range. They stock a wide selection of handguns, shotguns, suppressors, NFA items, tactical rifles, hunting rifles, and gear. They are fully stocked with all calibers of ammunition. They have gun safes, holsters, magazines. They do gunsmithing on site if you happen to be in the Conway, South Carolina area. Additionally, they hold training courses for those in the area. And they also offer a fully automatic experience in their gun range with an AR-15 or a Thompson 45 Tommy gun. They've got knives, they've got used firearms, parts, accessories, really just about anything you could think of related to firearms, home, and personal defense. I recommend you take a trip over to scgunstore.com, and no matter where you are, go to shop.scgunstore.com, where you can shop their inventory online and have it delivered right to your local FFL. That's the gun store of Conway, South Carolina. Thanks for making all the reviews that you see here on PGR possible.